Hello YouTube, welcome to part 2 of my sculpture video. If you haven't seen part 1, please check that out. I'll put a link down below so you can get to that one. In this one, I'm pretty much just doing some detail and refining work on the mask, trying to get it ready so I can cast that, mold that in silicone rather. And then, yeah, hopefully cast that in resin. I'll put a link to all my tools and stuff I use, and I'll try and include as much detail as I can about my process. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments and I'll try and get back to you. Alright guys, enjoy. Alright, so you kind of missed a little bit, but I just applied a uniform thickness of clay around the head sculpt to make the top part of the mask. And that was because I'm going to be casting this in resin. I want to have a little bit of space between the mask and my face so it's just not completely form-fitting. Because it's probably going to be very hot because it's going to be a hard plastic. And unfortunately my memory card got corrupted and I lost some of the videos I took of the detail work on the nose and the eyebrows. But also what you didn't see though is I kind of bounced back and forth between having kind of like a Batman-like cowl face part or like a Japanese Oni mask face part to it. And I ended up sending more of the Batman style. I want to have more anatomical correctness, but also with exaggerated features because I'm going to be wearing my helmet on top of this. And you probably won't be able to see a whole lot of the detail I'm putting in there, but I think, I don't know, I think it reads better on camera and it just looks cooler. Also too, on the insides of the eyes, what I had done actually is I got my calipers and I looked at my face in the mirror and I had used the calipers to find where my pupils were. And I marked those on the sculpture, not the sculpture, but the head cast, so that way I could kind of see where my eyes were going to be and where my pupils were going to be focusing out of. And then I used that information to help sculpt the eyelids around it. And the inside of the eyelids, I had sculpted a cavity, and that was because I wanted a little room for my eyelids to move back and forth. And also I'm going to be applying some metal mesh on the inside to white out the eyes. That way you can't see my own actual eyes, but I can see through it. There's a couple of cool Spider-Man videos of the kind of materials and stuff they use, but I've used a metal mesh and it worked really well. I was super happy with it. Had full visibility. Right now you can kind of see I'm adding some little marks on the inside of the mouthpiece, and that's because after I cast this in resin, my plan is to hopefully I could cut this into 2 pieces, and that way I can constantly use the top part of the face and have interchangeable masks. And so what I've added in there is like some little holes and some I don't know what you would call those, but anyways, my plan is to add magnets to them, and that way they kind of just click on and click off without having to attach Velcro or nothing like that, and keep it nice and light and easy to pull off and change them out. I kind of go back and forth. I was experimenting with different chemicals to smooth things out. I had looked online and someone had said use 99% alcohol on Monster Clay and it's supposed to work really well, but it actually does nothing. And so I found that odorless mineral spirits works really well. You can just get that stuff at Home Depot too. It's like $6. You get a lot of it. Just make sure you have a good way to store and get rid of it, because it doesn't give off fumes, but it does kind of have a smell to it, and it does make off a lot of fumes that you can't smell but will get you pretty dizzy. So make sure you have good ventilation if you're using that stuff. Yeah, I'm pretty much just like refining some of the details. I had a lot of reference material. I found a lot of stuff on Pinterest. That's a great site for reference material. And I found some Batman masks as well as some Deathstroke masks that looked pretty cool. And again, I want to keep this more anatomical and intimidating. And I kind of got my helmet back and forth and I put it on top of it to see if it would actually fit. And that's where you kind of see me shave down some of the sides of the mask, because that's because it wouldn't fit. And I just want to make sure it fit in there real smooth. I'm probably going to wear this mask with a elastic band. I was trying to do it with magnets, but I don't think that's going to work. We'll have to find out when I'm actually doing it, because it's kind of hard to guess, to guess and plan when you're working in clay versus something that you're actually going to wear. So yeah, you kind of just can plan for stuff and hope for the best, if not have a plan B. Here I'm separating the top and the bottom border parts of the mask from the teeth and the kind of the nose part, and that's because I want to have a more mechanical look to it. I want to look like somebody had gotten like a skull somewhere and then attached a couple of metal pieces to make a mask out of it. And that was pretty much inspired from Mad Max with the Morton Joe. I thought that was a great mask design. I didn't want to imitate it too much, but I was definitely inspired by it. I wanted to have my own flair to it, and I thought that was just great character design. That was very intimidating and scary mask. Even though you don't see the Immortan Joe too often, he still strikes fear in you. I do a lot of back and forth too, and honestly, I would have saved myself a lot of time if I had just worked from the head sculpt out with the teeth rather than putting a bunch of clay on and then sculpting them out of that. Because I think it ended up just coming a little bit bulky at the end of it, but I think it still looks cool. And that's all that really matters, as long as it looks good to you. And right about here is when I started hating it. When I get to a point where I hate what I'm working on, that means I'm almost done. So I'm pretty much just doing some more finishing work, and then kind of take a step back and look at it, see what you want to fix. And that's exactly what I'm doing right now. Is I'm removing the anatomical part of the cheekbone, or the jawbone rather, and I'm gonna make it look more mechanical, just more straight edges, more parallel lines. And I kind of experiment back and forth. I'll get pieces of monster clay and I'll put it on there with certain shapes, or I'll use a tool to carve in certain designs and patterns, and then I'll find something I like, and then I'll just end up adding it on there and smoothing things out. Yeah, like here you kind of see, like I just put one big piece on there. I didn't like the way that looked after a while because it kind of hid the jawbone. So I carved that out and added an extra like mechanical looking piece to it. It's difficult in this area because it's close to my cheek. The clay there isn't really too thick, and again I want to keep a little space between that and my face because I'm going to be wearing this all day and it's going to get hot. Using the calipers were a big help for maintaining symmetry and also doing the measurements. Because I work on the right side and then I work on the left, and then using the calipers I was actually able to measure what I had sculpted over there, and then just make marks in the clay and then add those pieces back on without having to repeat myself or do a lot of back and forth measuring. I still will check them every once in a while, make sure I didn't stare at it too long and just get used to the way it looked. Every once in a while it's good to take a step back and look at it, or take a picture, turn it upside down, and you can actually see what you did wrong. I'm also putting marks here in the bottom of the mask where I can cut away a lot of the resin, and that's just by design to help me a little bit later on once I pull it out, because it's going to have some excess on it. Okay, that will conclude this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I will have the molding and casting videos up pretty soon. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below and I'll try and get back to you. And thanks again for watching.